to see such a wonderful turnout, so we don't mind making sure everybody gets seated. So a couple of things. One, thank you very much for coming to this year's annual town meeting for the town meeting budget. Just a couple of housekeeping issues. We ask that you make sure your cell phones have been silenced so that those are not going off during the meeting. Please make sure that if you are a resident and you plan to vote at tonight's meeting, that you are sitting inside the guardrail area and that you have checked in with the registrar of voters, so to make sure your name is marked off on the list. If you are a non-resident, you should be sitting outside the guardrail area at the chairs at the back of the room. So before we kick things off tonight, we do have a couple of presentations for you this evening. Our first one is going to be the Boston Post Cane Certificate presented by Councillor Thibodeau.
Coming down on the floor.
It is my honor and privilege to present, I'm getting feedback, so. To present the Boston cane to my friend Cecile Figure, who's 102 years old. Wow. The Boston cane tradition was established in 1909 by Edward A. Grazier, editor and publisher of the Boston Post newspaper. A special cane of ebony and 14-karat gold was furnished in the to the selectmen in more than 600 New England towns to present it to the town's oldest citizen, and at his or her death to be transmitted to the next oldest living citizen. Almost 300 towns received a cane, including the town of Fairfield, where the Boston Post cane is encased in a locked and permanent display at the town office. To my friend, he is working on 103. Merci.
And if she can make it to town meeting, anybody can make it to town meeting. So also this evening, we have the annual Spirit of America Award presented by Councillor Lawrence to the Victor Grange.
Okay, the 2020 Spirit of America Award, recommended by Fairfield, Victor Grange 49. Claimed by the Town Council of Fairfield that as a resolution by recognition of Fairfield Victor Grange 49, a recipient of the Spirit of America Award. Be it resolved by the Town Council of Fairfield as follows. Whereas Victor Grange has been a cornerstone of our community, it exemplifies the true spirit of selflessness and civic engagement. Over the past years, its members have dedicated countless hours to improving the lives of others, fostering a sense of unity and preserving Fairfield. Their work spans the macro range of citizens, each leaving a lasting positive impact on the community. Whereas, notwithstanding these many accomplishments and continuing aspirations to engage with and give back to the greater community, and as the town of Fairfield and its citizens cherish the ongoing generosity, selflessly, and compassion that the victims has continued to show. Be it that we, the town do hereby recognize the Grange for outstanding achievements, accomplishments, and graduation today to acknowledge the award, their dedication to the community with the 2024 Spirit of American Award.
Good evening. I'm Shelley Rudnicki. I am the state representative for Fairfield. And we also have a legislative sentiment from the state of Maine. Be it known to all that we, the members of the Senate and the House of Representatives, joining in recognizing Victor Grange, number 49 of Fairfield, recipient of the Spirit of America Foundation Award. The Spirit of America Foundation was established to encourage and promote volunteerism, and the foundation presents awards to honor local individuals, organizations, and projects in appreciation of community service. We extend our congratulations and best wishes, and be it ordered that this official expression of sentiment be sent forthwith on behalf of the 132nd Legislature and the people of the state of Maine. It is signed by the President of the Senate, Matty Daughtry, and the Speaker of the House, Ryan Fecteau. It was introduced by myself and co-sponsored by Senator Scott Seaway. If we could have all the Grange members present to please stand to be recognized. I will be, Deb, could you come up and we will give you these? I want to tell you that the Grange has really been inspirational over the last few years for me. But I also want to say what's been started over this last year with the SOS program and so many of the other things that we have going on, that it's with great pride that I'm able to stand here and be able to give this to the Grange in my last term. So thank you for their service, everybody's service. And this is Deb Mason. She is the president of the Grange. So we can congratulate everybody.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so we're going to get started here pretty quick. Just want to give you a brief overview of what to expect throughout the course of the evening. If you have picked up a town report, know that the warrant that we're going to be voting on tonight starts on page 68. And immediately following that, on page 72, is where the budget spreadsheets start. That's the process that was used to develop this budget. The annual operating budget review started by the town council at a public workshop on March 1st. Once the council makes their recommendations, the budget goes to the budget committee. You'll denote that in those spreadsheets, the council's recommendation and the budget committee's recommendation is listed separately. The budget committee is comprised of, and if you are here, I really wish you would stand so that folks know who you are. Mark Williamson, who is the chairman of the budget committee this year. Maxwell Kenny, vice chairman. Carol Ann Banulo is the secretary. I'm more proud that I got that right, actually. Reed Baldick, Zachary Kerr, Larry Hillman, Shelley Rudnicki, Jeff Tyner, and Robert Woodsum. They were all great members. Thank you. The committee held two public meetings, one being March 1st and the other being March 25th. Once that process is completed, the town council sets the warrant using the highest approved amount of those two entities to allow for discussion at this meeting. Warrant articles are written with a dollar value in them. They can be lowered on the floor, but they cannot be raised on the floor, which is why you'll see instances where the council and the budget committee did not agree. They did use the highest number. Therefore, you as a community can decide which way you want to go with those. The town council and the budget committee's recommendations are the same on all articles except for two. One is the police department article and the other is spring cleanup. The major influences on the 25-26 budget are increased costs associated with wages and benefits and the estimated state of Maine revenue losses that are projected for the next year. If all articles pass, total expenses minus estimated revenue would be $2,815,702, which does represent a $538,763 increase over last year's committed budget. The operating budget without Article 9, because we all know Article 9 for the police department and fire department and its additional staff has been a large topic of conversation amongst the town council as well as budget committee members and community members. The budget operational-wise is up $79,773, which is a 3.5% increase. We do ask that you remember that MSAD 49's appropriation budget meeting is also tomorrow evening. It's at 7 p.m. at the Lawrence Junior High School. The school budget makes up approximately 60% of your tax bill. The remaining portions is the municipality and the county. Once the town clerk declares the meeting open and we elect a moderator, just so that you know what will happen, the moderator will read an article. A motion and second is required in order to open the article for discussion. If you would like to make a comment on an article, and because this is broadcast over Crossroads Cable Television, members of the public are asked to speak at microphones on either side of the room here. Please make sure that when you do get up, you state your name, your street address, or which organization, if applicable. So with that, no further ado, I'm going to turn it over to the town clerk to open up this meeting. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming. It's wonderful to see such a great turnout.
I hereby call this annual town budget meeting to order. Please turn to page 68 in the town report. Article 1, to choose a moderator to preside at said meeting. Do I have a motion to nominate a moderator? Are there any other nominations? Is there a second? Are there any other nominations? Do I have a motion to cease nominations? All those in favor of Peter Mills as moderator, please signify by raising your hand. All those opposed? All those in favor of Matt Tully as moderator, please signify by raising your hand. And all those opposed? Peter Mills is the winner.
Sign right here. Just sign now.
This is, I think, the largest town meeting I've seen in Fairfield, and I've been to a number of them, and maybe the largest one that I've seen anywhere, and I've been to many. We're going to start at sorry, at page, the entire schedule is on on 4 pages, which is also, I think, thanks to the leadership over here, maybe one of the shortest list of articles that I've seen in mediation, in these kinds of meetings. We're on page 68, starting with Article 2 in this case, to see if the town will allow non-residents who have information pertaining to Articles 2 through Article 32 to speak. Now, this is simply because if you're not a resident of Fairfield, you're not allowed to speak, but we can authorize it to happen if there are people here who work for the town, for example, who ought to be heard from in regard to certain items, that sort of thing. Do I have someone to make a motion to approve Article 2? I do. Is there a second? I see several. All right. Any discussion or questions about Article 2? Seeing none, if you're in favor, raise your hands or raise a hand. If you're opposed, raise your hand. Article 2 passes. We're down to Article 3. This is going quick. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate. Well, I got the, yeah, it's pretty small print, but it's $1,155,230 for the salaries and operations of the general government. All right. Town Council and Budget Committee both recommend that number. It would be allocated $931,170 for administration, $175,125 for insurance, $10,000 for general assistance, $18,950 for elections, and $20,000 for legal services. And the next paragraph actually just simply explains the sources of the revenue, but I don't think it's essential to read it for the sake of the article. It's integrated into the article. I got one motion and I got a second. All right. Any discussions or questions concerning Article 2? 3. I'm sorry. There we are. 3. Questions yes, sir, in the back. By the way, if you're going to speak, please go to the microphone over to the side so that the people watching this thing on television can hear what you have to say. Please identify yourself by name and your residence, please. That would be helpful.
Yes, Ronald McLagan, 140 Back Road, Fairfield.
Okay.
Just wondering if we could identify on Article 3, what is the percentage of this article as far as raises in this article? Can you tell me that?
If anyone can answer from the table. But you want to know what proportion of it may be represented by raises for people who work for town government?
I would like to know what the rates of the raises are. I'm hearing numbers of 7 to 10%.
So yes, ma'am, go ahead.
All non-union employees got a 7% raise.
7% raise.
Yes.
Okay. Now, on this article, can we separate the items to be voted on separately or not?
I'm not sure what you want separated. This is an article that was taken into consideration, and it includes not only your salaries, it includes your insurances, supplies, service fees, maintenance, capital, computers.
But could things be voted in except for like the 7% raises?
No.
What you're being asked to vote on is a certain amount of money for certain functions of state government. It doesn't, that's how it's organized.
Is the 7% negotiable?
Not on this motion.
It's not, okay.
All right, other questions? Yes, go ahead. Mark.
Things. First of all, could you tell me how many employees are listed in, for this particular article?
The questions I heard it was how many employees are affected by the money that is allocated in this article?
Yes,
Is that the question? Okay.
yes.
If anyone can answer. Yes, ma'am.
There are 7 full-time employees.
Okay, thank you. Now, just to maybe make it a little bit easier for folks to understand, you were told earlier that we can vote down, but we can't go up on the thing. So if you actually vote no, then it has to come in with a different amount. It's not up to us, though, whether that money's used for raises or not. That's up to the administration. What that money can be used, they have to figure out how to make it work if you vote it down and vote in a lower amount. So I just think that needed to be clarified a little bit for anybody that's voting on any of these articles work the same way. If a motion is made to agree with the town council and the budget committee, if the budget committee agrees, then you can put in a smaller amount to do that, but you cannot raise it. So does that make more sense to everybody? Okay. I just wanted to make sure because I was hearing some problems with clarification. Thank you.
Thank you. And are there any other concerns or questions about Article 3? All right. If you're in favor of Article 3, please raise a hand. Okay. All right. If you're opposed, please raise a hand. Okay. I think we do it. You want to count?
Count. We need to have a count.
Yeah. All right. You know, we can start. Let's start with. All right. Those in favor of Article 3, raise a hand and hold it up so that we can do a count, please. Thank you.
Some are short, some are high, some are low.
I think they stand up, yeah.
Right. All opposed, raise a hand, please. The motion fails. That brings us down to Article 4. See if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $103,973 for municipal debt. It's recommended by both the council and the budget committee at that level. Can I have a motion on Article 4, please? Motion, seconded, please. We have it. Questions or concerns about Article 4? Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Mike.
Swing it around, that's fine.
I could use my command voice and you're all here. Considering what Shelley just said, using the word easy, why don't we just take the entire amount of the budget, vote on the entire amount, and then if somebody wants a lower amount, because you can't go up, go on a lower amount, and then take that amount and spread it among all the articles. That way, we can know from the beginning if the budget is going to more or it's going to be less. Because the budget last year was way too high. We ought to vote on the budget as a whole. That gives a person to decide whether it should be lower or higher. Be the easier way. Using the word Shelley said, being easy, that would be an easier way to, I think. Thank you.
All right, it's a general comment. Any other questions or comments concerning Article 4, which has to do with municipal debt? All right, I see none. All in favor of Article 4, would you raise a hand? Those who may be opposed to Article 4, raise a hand. Article 4 carries. We're down to 5. See if the town will vote to raise and appropriate.
Doing it that way is not an easy way of doing it. An easier way, a much easier way, take the budget as a whole, divide it up by the number of articles. That way we can take care of the budget right now, instead of spending another hour and taking the articles up.
No, the rules of order are that we need to take one article at a time in sequence, and that's what we
If you don't
need to
mind,
do.
if you don't mind, I'll say, if I use the cavalry term, it wouldn't be appropriate. I'll just say, that is BS.
All right? You've had your say. Thank you.
Thank you. I might not want more to tell you.
We're down to Article 5. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $281,210 for the salaries and operations of the Lawrence Public Library. Town Council and the Budget Committee both recommend that very number. Article 5, do we have a motion on Article 5? We do. Do we have a second on it? We do. Questions, concerns, or comments about Article 5? Seeing none, if you're in favor of Article 5, raise a hand, please. All right. If you're opposed to Article 5, raise a hand. The motion carries. We're at number, excuse me, number 6, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $40,490, $40,490 for the operation and maintenance of the Fairfield Community Center. Council and Budget Committee both recommend it. And I need to have the motion on Article 6. It's been moved and seconded. Questions concerning 6? Go ahead. On the mic.
So for the last several years, this building hasn't been, we don't have a kitchen. Kitchen can't be used. And there's several items within this particular article, if you look at the budget to what would come from estimated revenue and cleaning and utilities, when the majority of this is utilities. If you could explain to me, I've been told that this building is sinking, this building is not, and it's not getting used for what we, expected it to be used for over the years. So if you could explain to me why we should continue to fund this building, I think that is the question at this point. I know there's some grants and stuff that supposedly are coming, but we've been hearing that for a few years now.
Has a question been posed? Does anyone have an answer or a comment? Yes, ma'am.
We received a grant for the community center. The new stove is already in place. The other appliances are going to be in place shortly. We do bring in revenue. If you check your budget, on the revenue page, you'll see how much is brought in for the rental of the community center. And the community center itself is booked regularly and fully. PAL uses it. Other organizations are using the community center as well. It's a valid part of our community. It's been here since the 1970s. We did try to go and get a grant for other renovations, and that was a federal grant, and that's kind of been put on hold for now. And but this is still a viable building, and it does bring in some revenue.
But the little bit of revenue from whatever, I've called a couple times myself to see about renting the gym for whatever reason. And it just seems like it's constantly being, where there's somebody that's not local that's rented it or whatever. And for the actual community to be able to use it and have it open, it just doesn't seem to be as viable to spend $40,000 on something that doesn't seem to be as viable as, I personally think it should be. So I'm just questioning that for that reason, especially for the extra money that's going to need to be put into this building shortly. And yeah, what took so long, I guess, on the appliances? Because that's been years.
Well, we got the grant last year. It was in last year, Shelley. And it was in August or somewhere in August. It just took a while to get things going. Things are working now, and we should be grateful that we've got it.
The building's also not sinking. I believe we've got a contingency plan for the police department to use that as an emergency center. We use it for council chambers. We use it for meetings like this. So I will concur it is a viable resource and asset for the town of Fairfield.
Kurt Peace, 23 Newhall. I think we need to get past viable and start thinking profitable. Because you said PAL does things here. We have council meetings here. Those aren't generating any profit.
No.
So let's get above viable and start talking about profitable, because we're reaching into these people's pockets now for taxes on their property.
So I would say that's why Councilor Thibodeau worked very hard to get grants, so we didn't have to reach into anybody else's pockets to have those improvements.
I know.
And now, and that was one of the discussions that we had, that we really need to make sure we use this building going forward to generate profits. So we totally agree, and that's where we're heading to.
Yeah.
And that's why we have this kitchen now that we can run.
Yeah, the word viable just didn't sound right to me, so I just want to make sure we're thinking in a little bit higher terms. We want to be thinking profitability, not viability. So, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm short. Hi, I'm Lucy Stewart, 48 Old County Road, Fairfield. And my take on the extra money for this building, it doesn't take a lot from maintenance for cleaning, because whenever a party uses this, they have to clean it and put everything back where it was before. So I don't think we need to get any money out of people for that. You can go up on what you charge maybe to the people from out of town that want to use it, and keep it lower for the people that do live in town, and give us a little bit of reward for paying the extra money. And so I think that's too much money for you guys, but that's all I have to say.
Other questions, comments? Anyone else? If you're in favor of Article 6, raise a hand, please. If you're opposed to Article 6, raise. from my perspective, I see it passing, but if you want to count.
You count.
Huh? All right, for those in favor, raise a hand, hold it, if you please. All right, those opposed, raise a hand. Sorry.
And what was the count? Against? Four. Okay.
All right.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah.
Say when? You have them count off or, yeah. Or we could do, you got paper? No. Yeah. We got enough slips of, you got little slips of paper or anything? No.
Danielle and I both. We can have them time again. You can get
We can do it again and we'll have you, we'll have, how about we do it, excuse me.
And so why don't you think she's a neutral person? The community center?
It's either that or we go to paper. All right, you want, I'll designate, you want 2 people or 3 people to do the counting?
So we have.
Let's do it then.
So. we can figure it out. Stand and then have.
Yep.
All right. What we thought we'd do is have the 2 women count this section first. We'll do just vote this section first. All right, if that's all right with, and we'll have you stand. If you can, if you can't, raise a hand so we can get you that way. All right, so please stand if you're in favor of the article. And let's get of the 2 women count you right now and record the what you get. Switch over to here and do all in favor. All in favor, please stand on the left. Stand on the left. Those of you in favor over on the left, we're only going to count the left at this point because we've counted the right. Those in favor of the article, stand. If you can't stand, please raise your hand so it's prominent so they can see you. That's right. In the table, the citizens at the podium also should be counted in one fashion or another. Jot down what I think we'll have the negative vote first before we ask you what you've got. All right? I'm sorry. Those who oppose the article on this side, please stand. You can, if you can't, raise your hand. I'm sorry, what? All right. This side can sit. Let's go to the other side and have you stand if you're opposed. And that may include anybody who's on the podium, on the stage rather, not the podium. Yeah. Okay, all right. The report of the vote is that there are 65 in favor and 60 who are against the article, so the article prevails. And we're all down to the police department, which is our
Mr. Moderator, Mr. Moderator, can we readdress Article 3 before we get too far ahead?
I'm sorry, can we what?
Can we readdress Article 3 before you get too far ahead? Maybe we get a motion for a lower amount?
Read article.
Article 3 got voted down. Can we readdress Article 3 with a motion for a lower amount?
Well, the article failed. Yes.
the article could ask for to reconsider.
It will require a separate vote to reconsider it. And it can be only made by somebody who lost the article. All right, this is.
What she's saying.
Somebody who voted.
I'm gonna defer ruling on that. This has to do with Article 3, is that right? All right, we can't. At this point, if we're gonna take it out of order, we need to do it after we have done as far as I'm concerned, we need to do it after we have considered the other articles that are on this warrant. The appropriate time for an article, for a motion to reconsider would have been immediately after the vote and in response to it. That doesn't mean that you can't do it, but right now we're down to Article 7, and we need to take up the other articles, and we can come back and consider, and if the body wishes to, we can reconsider Article 3. Yes.
The way that we're voting from hands raised and one person counting to standing up and having two people count, do one side of the room and then the other, shouldn't it be consistent throughout? And shouldn't we revote Article 3? Well, of course, the people who didn't want it who won are gonna want it that way.
Well,
But I think in all due respect and in fairness, I think if we're gonna change the way that we vote midway through, we should go back and do it the same way for consistency. And if people truly, and if the majority of the people really wanted it that way, the vote wouldn't matter. It would be the same. So I think we should keep it consistent throughout.
We'll take it up. But right now, we're going to proceed with the articles in the order in which they come, and then if the body wants to consider Article 3 again, there'll be a motion to that effect, and we'll go ahead and do it. But we've got to get Article 7 is to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $1,857,824 for salaries and operations of the police department and town council recommend that number. And the budget committee recommends the number of $1,846,824. Do I have a motion on Article 7, which is the police department? We have a motion and a second for the number that is the town council and department number. What was your number? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Your number written first. Okay, the one that's in the body of the motion itself. All right. Okay, so we have that before you. Now, do we have questions or concerns about Article 7? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, 135 Back Road, Caleb Bernarchi. We're going to be here all night. You fine folks up here have already stated that whatever we say, you can allocate from whatever you choose anyway. So I don't understand why we can't do what the gentleman said earlier and just vote on the one big budget, because as stated, you guys already move things around how you want. I mean, that's not how government works, is it not? You guys take from one, move it to the other, get what you want anyway.
I'm sorry, sir, there's nothing being moved, all right? If there's going to be any consideration of Article 3, it'll be at the end of this. All right, we're
already voting on the same thing 3 times. I mean,
I'm sorry, but these articles need to be.
this is how you get more people interested in government and participating in the local level, is making it easier and getting rid of bureaucracy so the average person doesn't need to read a 3-paragraph explanation. It should make it more simple.
Do you have a comment on Article 7?
It can be on any of them. Article 7, Article 8, Article 9, yes, absolutely.
Madam, do you have an article?
You guys absolutely do create things 100% confusing. You pick sides on each other. We're all here for the same reason. We live in the same town. We're all just trying to have our voice heard. be done, be spoken, and all said and done. And the only thing you guys do is you're worried about your raises, which, I mean, is what it is all around the board. You've already stated at the beginning that really this is all kind of smoke and mirrors, and you're just going to allocate what you want, where you want anyway. So why can't we just vote on the whole thing?
With all due respect,
Thank you.
there is,
Adam, go ahead.
there are several articles.
We're talking about
There are
police budget.
several other articles still to come that there is a big difference in opinion on that will make a large amount of difference in the overall town budget. So there's still to come. No, if you just wait and if you actually get to articles down the line, you will see that. So there's a big difference. That's why we want to do each one at a time. So you can have a chance to talk about those and you can have actually individual concerns about each individual article. That's the way to do it. That's why you have a chance to talk about each one and what maybe you're really passionate about.
Excuse me, Matt.
Adam, go ahead. You have the floor.
Could you explain the difference between the Budget Committee and Town Council on this article, please?
If anyone can answer here. Oh, yes, okay.
Chief, the difference in the article is, would be maintenance budget for the police cruisers. The Budget Committee felt that we didn't need the full amount that we requested. We feel the same. So I would request a motion be made to go with the Budget Committee's recommendation of the lower amount.
All right, the article before you is for the amount that was read. Any other comments or concerns, questions? All right. Those in favor of Article 7 as read, raise your hands.
The motion is for the higher amount.
The motion, do you want the amount read again?
Mr. Moderator?
It's for the higher, to answer your question, it's.
Mr. Moderator?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Moderator? If I may amend the article to read for $1,846,824.
Well, the problem is we're already on a vote for the article as it was written. If it fails, then you can make a motion to amend it.
I'm amending the motion now.
We're in the process of having a vote.
Yeah.
All right, so I got to get the vote over with, and then you can do whatever you want.
All right, thank you.
All right, there is a motion on the floor to approve to approve the amount that is in the motion itself, $1,857,824. That's what's in front of you. If we may have a motion either for or against that article, then we can go ahead and there are other things you can do about it if you wish. All right, all in favor of this article as it lies before you, the $1,857,824. All in favor, please raise a hand. Those opposed, please raise a hand. All right. Now, do we have a motion? Do we have another motion in regard to Article 7? We do. Thank you, sir. No, go ahead. You stood up. You got up first. Or defer to him if you wish.
Okay, Ken Cook from the Davis Road. I recommend that we go with the Budget Committee's recommendation.
You'd like to move to amend, the first motion is to amend the article.
Right.
To reflect to adopt the lower number.
The Budget Committee's recommendation.
The Budget Committee, okay. We have a second on that. Are you in favor of amending the article to read that way? Raise your hands. Any opposed? It passes. Now, we have the article as amended with a lower number in it. Are you in favor? Raise your hands. Any opposed? There we go. We have an article passed. Say what? The chief is thanked. There are several who want to thank the chief for that recommendation. Article 8, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $1,483,709 for the salaries and operations of the fire department Budget Committee recommends a number of, that same number, 1,483,709. Do I have a motion in regard to Article 8? It's moved and seconded, is it? It's seconded. Questions, concerns about Article 8, please? Seeing none, if you're in favor, raise your hands. If you're opposed, raise yours. Article 8 passes. We're down to Article 9 to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $218,600 for the cost of operations and maintenance of fire hydrants and street lighting. Street lighting, rather, excuse me. The recommendations of the council and the budget committee are part of this article. It's moved, seconded. It is seconded. Questions or concerns about Article 9 now? I'm sorry, go ahead. If you're going to speak, use the mic. Is this helpful? Yeah, there's two mics, one over there, one over here.
Lucy Stewart, 48 Old County Road, Fairfield. Can you just define what the lighting is? Because I know at Christmas time, there was a big snafu and a big problem with putting lights on the gazebo. So I just don't want to see this year do the same thing. Is that money going to be included in that?
No.
This article is talking about streetlights. Several years ago, we began a system of buying our streetlights, and we now own our streetlights. And this has been a cost-saving measure over the years. And I can't remember right now how much money we actually saved, but it was sizable. So what we're referring to on this article are just the streetlights. What you're referring to was a whole different issue.
Okay.
And it is not to be addressed in this article.
Okay. All right. So that's all. I just wanted clearance on that.
Yeah.
So why now, if everything's been upgraded, what?
This is for repairs, and in case we need to have a new street light put in somewhere. And this is just for the insurance.
Okay.
Right now, everything is LED. We can adjust the brightness of it. Public Works does that. But we need to have some insurance in case something goes wrong, since we are responsible for the street lights.
Okay. What's the insurance fee? Just
That I have no idea.
okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
Other concerns, questions, comments? Seeing none. If you're in favor of Article 9, raise your hand, please. A hand. If you're opposed, please raise yours. The article carries. We're down to 10. See if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $1,520,757 for the salaries and operations of public works and cemeteries and parks departments. This is recommended by the Budget Committee and the Town Council. Yes, apparently it is. It's moved. Seconded? It is seconded. We're on Article 10. Questions, concerns about it? If you're in favor of Article 10, raise your hand, raise a hand. Okay, any opposed to Article 10? Raise, yes, we have one, two, we have several opposed, but the article carries. We're down to Article 11, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $590,000 for road, street, sidewalk paving, and to carry forward any unexpended account balance to the next fiscal year. The Council and Budget Committee recommend this very number. And do I have a motion on Article 11? Do what? All right. That's why we have the written version in front of you as well, madam. All right, go ahead. If it's been moved, is it seconded? It is seconded. Questions or concerns about Article 11? Seeing none, if you're in favor of Article 11, please raise a hand. If you're opposed to 11, raise a hand. Article 11 carries. We're down to 12. See if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $20,000 for solid waste disposal. This is recommended by the council and the budget committee. Do I have a motion on 12? I do. Seconded? Seconded. Questions, concerns about 12? If you're in favor of 12, raise a hand. If you're opposed, raise a hand. 12 carries. We're on to 13 to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $20,000 for spring cleanup. The council and the department both recommend it. Motion, please, on 13. It's moved and a second. Seconded. Questions, comments about 13? All in favor of 13, raise a hand.
Mr. Moderator,
I'm sorry, somebody did want to talk?
Mr. Moderator,
Yes?
we are on Article 13. The town council recommends no money being spent for our spring cleanup. Budget committee recommends $20,000. What is the motion on?
I'm sorry, that is correct.
I couldn't hear you. You've got to come to the mic, please.
No, wait. Article 13 is before you with the higher amount. If you want to move to amend it, you have the right to do that. I'm sorry, go ahead, madam. You have the mic.
So the first thing I have is the motion that got put forth and was voted on was not correct because you stated that everyone was in agreement for the 20,000, which is not true, as Stephanie just mentioned. And my second piece to it is if the budget committee is recommending 20,000, but the department and the town council are not, does that mean that there will be no spring cleanup? Or does that mean that there will be a residential fee for that service?
Mr. Moderator, may I?
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
When the town council put down the zero amount, it was so that we would no longer do the spring cleanup. The amount of the spring cleanup is actually more than $20,000. And the budget committee actually recommended that we keep it as a service for our citizens. So that is why there is a difference in the amounts.
Okay. So can we just
Go ahead.
reiterate the article and the motion that was put forth? Because I'm concerned that there's confusion on the amount.
I think there is confusion, and I'd be happy to have us let's get that cleared up.
Okay, thank
But the motion, I believe the motion that was made from the floor was for the motion, the article, which includes the number $20,000, and that was seconded. So that's the motion that lies before you. There's several things you can do, and you're well aware of what you can do. You can move to amend it, you can vote it up, you can vote it down, or what have you. All right? I'm sorry, you can vote it down. What?
Yeah, vote out.
Vote for.
I said you can vote.
No.
I'm sorry, no, you can't increase it over the 20,000. That's correct. You're right. So we have let's get it all straight. We have a motion that's seconded that says to spend $20,000 for the spring cleanup. All right. Is there anybody else who has a comment or concern about the article as it has been moved and seconded?
Mr. Moderator?
Yes.
You misread the article when you first read it. You said that the budget committee and the council recommended the same
And
amount.
I stand corrected.
So I think we should just start over with this whole reading of this article from the get-go.
Well,
We voted on 12, we're on 13.
all right, we've had two people, we have a person who made the motion. Did you make it? Yes, it was. Yeah, no, I'm sorry, the party making the motion made the motion on the basis of what was written in the article, not in the recommendations. And there was a second to it that way also. So, all right, the proper, sorry, but what lies before you is the article, frankly, as it was written and also moved on. Now, you're free to do the various actions you can take at this point. Go ahead. Go ahead, Nikki.
So just to be clear, very clear, the motion was made for 20,000 because that's what's in the article, because that's what's put in. That's to be clear. I believe it came from the front of the room first before somebody in the back of the room. So I'll be clear on that. So the budget committee voted to actually include it back in. I was on the budget committee. I didn't vote for a lot of the stuff that got passed, but I will say on this particular article, one of the reasons that I went along with it is we have a senior population in this town. This is a way for our seniors to get rid of a lot of stuff or get rid of a bunch of stuff or bigger items during spring cleanup. Now, I know it's not a fan of, Public Works is not a fan of this because it does, take up a lot of their time. But I think for the residents piece of it, that it does help our residents. And I think it's appreciated that way. I've not always taken advantage of this, but I do think it's something that we should consider. And that's why. Thank you.
All right, other people speaking. Go ahead.
Hi, Sue LaPlante, Burrell Street. I just have a question. Why isn't that spring cleanup part of Public Works? Why is it separate? It's Public Works that does the work.
Questions
And
been
they just
posed?
got a raise.
Yes, go ahead and address that.
This is an extra service that we provide, and it requires more time by Public Works to fulfill this. So it's only there because, again, it's up to the townspeople to decide. It's your money. And remember, so it does cost more than the $20,000 that's listed.
But I don't think it should be a separate article. It should be part of Public Works' job.
I understand that, and we can't do anything with it right now. It's been like this for years. Spring cleanup has been separate. Bruce, would you like to clarify that?
$20,000 is only for the disposal of the waste that we pick up. It does the tonnage of waste that we pick up. It doesn't go towards our wages or anything. It is just for the material to get rid of it at the dump.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead. You have the mic.
Claire Burke, 328 Norwich Walk Road. I'd just like to say that I think that's great to do the waste pickup. However, it clearly states 10 items. And if you drive around, some places there is a mountain of stuff. So if we're going to do it and do 10 items, then let's do 10 items.
Other comments or questions? Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, George Hofgren, Nice Corner Drive. And I just want to add to what Claire said. And I think it's probably best to approve it, only because I'm not sure anybody was prepared to have like a town cleanup, no town cleanup decision. Usually this is more budgetary and not procedural. But I don't see that much stuff being put out, and it might just be the area of the town that I live in. It seems like people could actually be putting more out. When this program was going on for years and years, there actually wasn't really a limit. So if we're going to do it and we're going to spend that much money on like tipping fees and whatnot, if there's somebody who really needs to do like a major hoe out or a business or whatnot, as far as I'm concerned, I think that's fine because I just don't see a large volume of stuff. But the reason that I came up to speak is that I know of at least one resident that has again this year, not a lot, but they brought stuff apparently from without, because I don't know why you would be why you would be depositing stuff in front of your house that isn't from your house. Like if it's from somewhere else in Fairfield, they would put it there in Fairfield. So that, what's that? So it's, so there's no question, it's a discussion. And so that's my comment is that, I don't necessarily have a problem with how much people are putting out, but, even minor things need to, the town shouldn't be paying for other towns' waste stuff.
Thank you,
All
George.
right, other questions, concerns about this? We're on Article 13 at 20,000. If you're in favor, raise your hand, raise a hand.
This is what, for what?
This is
I'm sorry?
for the 20,000.
If you're opposed to the article as it has been moved and seconded, you may raise your hand.
Don't know what we're voting on.
Mr. Moderator, could you
Yeah.
please repeat the motion?
Yeah, the motion was made as the article itself is written to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $20,000 for spring cleanup. That's the motion that lies in front of you. It's been seconded, it's been debated, been discussed, and it's ready for a vote. Those in favor of it, please raise a hand. Those opposed to it, raise a hand. From this position, I would say the article carries. We're on Article 14, see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $13,200 for recycling. This is recommended by both the council and the budget committee. Do I have a motion on 14? A question? You can have a question as soon as we have a motion to have a question about. We have a motion and is seconded. It's seconded. Now you can raise all the questions you want.
Okay, so you guys know who I am by now. So what part of this, what's this recycling? Because we have 13,000, then we have 20,000 and another 20,000 that really all goes to rubbish. So what's this part here?
Go ahead and answer.
This is the fee that is charged to us from, is it Pine Tree or is it the one in Norwich Walk? I always get
No, it's
them.
water bill, water
Water-
recycled.
It's right. That's the one on the Armory Road
And we're,
Okay,
where we recycle.
We are-
That is what our commitment is for us to be able to take stuff to that place.
and we are required to have a recycling program in place. It isn't a really an additional
law.
budget that we can choose. This is the law that we have to make sure that we have a recycling program in place.
well,
This
that's
is
fine.
kind of a pass-through that we have to use.
I just wanted to know why
Right.
20,000, 20,000. And
There are different types of waste, Lucy.
okay,
And so what, Article 14 is addressing the Armory Road recycling. Article 13 is what is
Spring cleanup.
from spring cleanup.
but where does that go?
That goes to, where does that go, Bruce?
Should go.
Green, no, Gregory's, I think it's Gregory's this year, right?
Right.
Gregory's disposal this year.
Right, and they will take care of it from there.
Okay,
In Article 12, that 20,000 for solid waste disposal, Bruce, can you clarify that one? Where does that
Some
go?
of that goes to Casella Waste for municipal trash pickup.
so that's municipal.
That's right. When we empty all the receptacles during the
Oh.
week, we have dumpsters and that's where it goes.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
Thank you for the question, Lucy.
Leslie Zimmerman, Center Road. So for many years, I lived in California and we recycled everything. Where I live, I don't get trash pickup. I have to take it to the dump. And I have to take stuff to Casey's. I take stuff to the place next to Caswell's that you're talking about, but they only take certain things. So I would say half of the stuff that I would recycle in California here is trash. And I think that's appalling. I just think that is absolutely appalling. And so I really wonder, I hear what you're saying that we have to pay for transportation for it, but we're really not recycling.
No,
I don't think that's.
And I think we should kind of call it what it is. It's waste.
right.
Because I go to the same place on Army Road and talk to the person. 3/4 of stuff that we used to take there, we don't take anymore, so.
All right,
Because we're mandated to.
We are mandated to pay, and you may want to talk to your legislatures
Good.
and see what they can do about it.
all right, yes, sir, go ahead. Take the mic.
Rick Thibodeau, Center Road. I recycle, and people got to understand that this is a throwaway world. Everything goes to the dump, but the dumps keep getting bigger, and they leak everywhere. And we need more recycling. We need to find uses for this plastic that causes PFAS. We can't just keep dumping it. And there's a difference between recycling and dumping. And I think people got to straighten their head out about taking care of their land.
Adam, go ahead.
Claire Burke, Middle Road, where do I live? Norwich Walk Road. I would just want to second what he said. I go to recycling every week. I am very dedicated to it. There's lots of things that they recycle: clear glass, tin cans. Number two, your milk jugs, he'll tell you what they make with those, where it goes to, and what it's used for. So I totally, even the plastic wrap now around your paper towels and toilet paper, the bottles of water that you get in a case. So go and talk to them and please recycle. It's important.
Okay, we're on Article 14. Any other comments or questions?
Right here, Peter. Right here.
If you're in favor of Article 14, raise a hand. If you're opposed to 14, raise a hand. 14 passes. We're down to 15.
Well, let me just, yeah, it can be real quick because everything we've been discussing isn't really relevant to the town pickup. So the town pickup that happens once a year isn't for like household trash, so it doesn't apply to like recycling and whatnot. But all that being said, it's a good topic, and I think right now is an important time to point out that everything you throw out literally is you're just dumping out back. It all goes to Norwich Walk, it goes to a landfill, and they literally throw it on the ground. And we have incineration in this state. We've had incineration due to federal energy policies. It's been kind of taken off but that's something that this town should be looking at, spearheading for the rest of central Maine, is that much of our trash is A, energy, and B, shouldn't be just gone to lie in Norwich Walk for the next 1,000 years. So that's something
All right.
that I just want to get out there. Thank you so much.
Okay, we're down to Article 15. See if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $265,000 for capital improvement, equipment, and other reserve accounts. Budget Committee and the council both recommend this number. May I have a motion on 15? It's moved, seconded. Questions, concerns about 15? Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
So I noticed that 265,000 for capital improvements. What's the undesignated fund for? It's over $8 million, which is more than what we raise in property taxes.
I'm sorry, did you
Wouldn't
hear?
that be a part of the undesignated funds is for capital? That's what we've been told, if there's something that we need? No.
Can you answer the question? Go ahead.
The difference between your capital reserve account, which we are getting into, and the undesignated fund. The undesignated fund is what we have to rely on in case there was a major catastrophe and we didn't have any financial way of bringing in any revenue to pay for our bills. So if you look under the revenue section, you'll see an undesignated fund balance. The auditors recommend that we have a 6-month amount that would cover us for 6 months. And we have separated it so that you will see a 3 months of operational cost as well as a 6-month. when we take a look at the overall budget, we take some of this money to defray the tax impact, and that comes out of the undesignated fund balance. So that's the difference between those. When you're looking at the capital improvements, this is for buildings. Suppose one of the plow trucks breaks down, we have capital improvement for that as well. So this is what we can't, it's the insurance to make sure that we can continue to do our business.
So reserve funds are designated. They are special funds that are meant for equipment or buildings or other things along that line. The undesignated fund balance is just what it says, undesignated. It comes from usually funding that we have. So we have positions that were actually budgeted for but weren't filled. That money goes back into the undesignated fund balance for the year. That is then money that we use to often offset and to decrease taxes. You'll see later in the articles, there's a move there. So I would say that we used to use 600,000, then went up to 900,000. I propose this year to use $1.45 million out of that undesignated fund balance to reduce your taxes. That's undesignated fund is not designated. These are capital improvements that we have to start budgeting for on a gradual process, so then we can actually pay for equipment when it's finished its usable life, and buildings and everything on that one.
So for clarification, that 8.3 or $4 million in undesignated is you overtaxing us
No.
over time?
No,
And
no.
extra funds that were left over?
Sure, if that's the way you want to interpret it,
Yeah.
fine. But the fact is, those are positions that were unfunded so they were budgeted for, they were unfilled, and that money goes back into undesignated fund balance that we're mandated to have between 3 and 6 months. I propose this year that we increase that amount to $1.45 million to reduce your taxes. So that is why where that undesignated fund balance comes from.
So you want to collect a little over $8 million in property tax?
We're not going to collect $8 million. That's a fund that has slowly grown over
Not the
this span.
undesignated fund, the property tax revenues is 8 million something
That's the balance that's built up to.
built up to. Okay,
And that's going to be dealt with later on in the articles.
okay, thank you.
All right. Other questions?
Vernie, I want to add to that. The undesignated fund doesn't cover just the town budget. We're also on the hook for school and county. So let's say, for instance, something happens with the school funding and the state of Maine doesn't fund the school. We're still on the hook for our share of the school funding, which, as the manager said earlier, 60% of our overall taxation. That 8.4 million that you see in undesignated, the Council and Budget Committee did recommend we use 1.45, so that will not be the amount that's there. We use it every year. We have offset it as long as I've been on the Budget Committee. It keeps dwindling, so it's a fund that they expect us to keep 3 to 6 months so that we can cover operations in case we don't receive state funding for other revenues. Thank you. I was on Budget Committee 6 years before I came on the council, as the chair of the Budget Committee as well.
Other questions? Seeing none, if you're in favor, raise your hand. If you're opposed to Article 15, raise your hand. Article 15 passes. We're down to 16 to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $5,000 for community events. Council and Budget Committee recommend $5,000. We have a motion on 16, please. We have a move and a second. Questions on 16? Or concerns or arguments? If you're in favor of 16, raise your hand. If you're opposed to 16, raise yours. 16 passes. We're on 17 to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $1,500 to honor soldiers and sailors with graveside flags on Memorial Day. This is recommended by the town and the Budget Committee. I have a motion on this one. Second, and it's seconded, yes. All right, questions on 17, concerns? You want to speak to it, madam? Go ahead.
So on the like Memorial Day parade, there's no way you guys put $1,500 into that. Because the Memorial Day parades that I remember used to be a mile long. Now we have the cars, 2 cars, we go to the bridge, we shoot off the things, we throw the wreath. That's it.
So this article is not about a parade. This is about putting flags on veterans' graves.
Okay, other
So
questions?
if you don't want to stick them there, be my guest, but I really want to, and I am willing to pay $1,500 all day long to do that.
Yep. All right, other questions or concerns? All in favor of the article? 16? Any opposed? Article 16 passes. We're on 17 to see if the town.
That was.
That was 17. God bless you. All right, let's turn the page.
Go.
You're gonna watch. Yes, it was. All right. We're at 18 now to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $27,500 for the Fairfield Police Athletic League. Town and the Budget Committee, the Council and Budget Committee recommend 27.5. Can I have a motion on 18? Yep, we do. I'm sorry, I have a motion over here as it was read, and is it seconded? It is seconded. I'm sorry. I had, the first two hands I had were over here. Was your motion intended to be the amount of 27.5, or was it something else? 27.5 for both the motion and the second? All right, that's what I thought I heard. I'm just trying to verify it. All right. Questions, concerns, or motions in regard to Article 18?
So for years, I've had something to say about the PAL budget. In fact, probably 20 years ago, I was told I'd never be in politics if I affected PAL at all. So we know how that worked out. So my question to this is, again, is what is the PAL's current balance? The last time I saw a balance sheet, it was significant. It was well over 100,000 that they had in the bank, and they're still asking us for more and more and more money. I don't mind helping the kids. I will do it every day of the week. But I have a problem with continuing to fund programs that they're just building on their bank balance when they continuously are, they don't even do it so much anymore, but have the kids stand out in front of the stores asking for money and all of that stuff. We're covering the cost of the fields. It's in that article. If you see what's read in there, we're covering the cost of the fields under our Parks and Rec budget. How much more do we need to continue to supplement on this over and over and over again?
Okay, questions or answers to that? Yes, sir, go ahead.
So I did a little math as we were waiting for the meeting to start. The number of children that participated in the PAL program is about 35% of all of the children that participated. 35% of the 40,000 of their budget that they asked for from the towns is $22,000. And I just think fair is fair. If we got 35% of the kids, we should have 35% of their budget.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
So in speaking, I'm actually Gary Morse from the Davis Road in Fairfield, but speaking to Shelley's comments about the fields and everything, the fields are taken care of once a week by the town. And then all volunteers and parents are going down to those same fields and mowing them on our own dimes. So it's not really like the town of Fairfield is taking care of the fields to the greatest extent. We have kids out there all the time that are either rolling ankles or doing whatever. So on top of that, the PAL, we do our own repairs to the fields and fill in holes on the fields and spend money annual operating expenses for PAL are well over 200,000. So if you really take a look at PAL's bank account, yes, but if you take away all funding that PAL has, then the town of Fairfield will be paying their own sports program within a year. It cannot be funded solely by PAL and what they do. So if you really take a look and think about it, 27.5, yeah, it's a lot of money, but everybody in here is kids or has pretty much gone through this program. So that's where I'll leave that.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Okay, so I've been with the PAL program probably through 4 generations of kids. I was down there, donated a lot of time and a lot of money and still paid the fee because your kid has to pay a fee of $35. And you don't get new uniforms every year. And I don't know about the groundwork. Bruce could probably answer to that if the town takes care of it. I don't know. Do you take care of it? So the town takes care of that. It's already being funded somewhere else. And some of the people that they have coaching are not qualified to coach. My daughter was verbally and emotionally abused. I went to the Waterville program because of a basketball coach. And I did get kicked out for a year for standing up for my child, and I would do it again. So I think if you look at the whole picture, you don't need the money. You really don't. And Benton doesn't pay and participate in that because they already pay when their kids move up.
They do. Moderator?
They do.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
So I'd like to address PAL for you with real facts that PAL presented to us. Last year, they had 1,038 participants total in all their programs. Fairfield residents, Fairfield kids was 372 kids in all their programs, amounted to 35.84% of the participants in PAL. There are 4 towns that participate in PAL. The amount of revenue that they asked for amongst the 4 towns was $76,500. Their requests were $35,000 from Fairfield, 13 from Albion, 16 from Benton, and 12.5. What we did was took the total amount of money of $76,500, divided it by the 35, just shy of 36%, and that's how we came up with the $27,500 for our fair share of Fairfield PAL. We do not have a Parks and Rec department. It would cost us a lot more money if we had to service and pay for a Parks and Rec director. Not something everybody's opposed to. PAL's been a valuable entity for a very long time. They are a 501c3. Public information, you can go find that information online. But as Gary said, they line their fields, they take care of infields and football fields, soccer fields. The town does mow them, and I believe the school will use some of them during the school season. But at 27.5, that's the percentage of kids that use Fairfield PAL in their summer program. So that's how we derive those numbers.
Any other questions, comments? Go ahead, sir.
So I just checked my math. 35% of the 61.5 is $21,525, not $27,000.
Mark, it's 76.5 between the 4 towns is what their ask was.
According to the sheet that's in our book, says the town's support was $61,500.
It's in our book.
Right there.
So I have the last 3 years projections that PAL gave us. As all of these articles that you're voting on right now, whether it's the Spectrum's generation, the Grange, all request, they'll send us why they're asking for what amounts of money. And again, all we can go by is the numbers they give us. In 2025, their projections, they'd ask Fairfield 35,000, Albion 13,000, Benton 16,000, Clinton 12,500. That's a total of 76.5. In 2024, those figures were Fairfield 40,000, Albion 13,000, Benton 16,000, Clinton 12.5. So it went down $5,000 from last year. They gave us 23, 35,582, Albion 13, Benton 16, Clinton 15.5. So again, they've changed over the years, and all we thought was what was fair for us was to take the percentage of kids by the total town request. So those are the numbers that we have to go by. I don't know what the book says.
So one of the things to remember is when you're looking at the book, the town report is actually for fiscal year ending June 30, 2024. So what's in the book is PAL reporting to you what has happened in the last year. What you don't have is the letter of request that the council gets and that the budget committee gets for their request for the 25-26 budget. So the numbers that he was using was from that.
Yes, sir.
Yes, my name is Ryan Ward. I'm not a resident of Fairfield, but I am the current treasurer on the PAL board. I just want to answer Shelley's question on how much money we have in the bank. We do currently have approximately $200,000. It covers less than 1 year's operating expenses. And that's taken from, I just started this position a little over a year ago. That's taken from what I can see over 20 years to build up in time. I think a lot of that comes from the fantastic community, the people that keep volunteering, keep donating, the local businesses that keep donating, the towns that keep providing, all keeping this youth program going for our children. If another COVID happens, we get no income. That happened in 2021. We were voted down. That we had the capital to start back up again when restrictions were lifted. Something like that happens again, we use that money, we put it into our fields, we put it into new uniforms. We're slowly getting better at replacing that stuff. Some of that stuff wasn't replaced as quickly as it used to be. Now it is. Softball girls are getting new uniforms. We're getting more updated football equipment that's safer and up to today's standards. So the money is being used for the children. Thank you.
Mr. Moderator?
No, sir, go ahead and speak. You're at the mic already.
It's George Hoffman from Nice Corner, and I'm not necessarily like a children's sports major proponent. I'd be more arts and that type of thing. But the previous PAL administrative people were very passionate about what they did, and every year there would be kind of a real grapple here about this issue, and it's kind of heartening to see that is still happening. But I think that just like the $20,000 for the town cleanup, I don't think just right now with this group right here is the time to just nix it. I think that the PAL program is particular for Fairfield and the Fairfield area, and I think Fairfield right now is starting to actually bring like families into the town, which hasn't happened since I've been here for 25 years. So I think the prudent thing to do is just continue to go forward with it, let them, and if it's something that the town feels important about to stop, there's a year to have discussion on that. And that's just I just think that's the right thing to do. Anyway.
Okay, other questions?
Mr. Moderator?
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Just so that you'll know, in 2024, the budget income for PAL was $223,850. Their budget expenses were $234,135 for a net budget of minus $10,285. Their projected income for this year is $242,325. Their projected budget expenses is $258,045 for a budget net of a minus $15,720. I'd like to remind you that how we, as a council, came up with that amount of $27,500 was actually per capita. when you divided it up between the amount that was given to us and the number of students that were actually playing PAL, the 27,005 was how we came up with our money.
Oops. Any other questions or comments?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So, we heard the budget is for 200,000, or 240,000, if that's what you said it was. My question, would be then is, really, what is that being spent on? Because if this is, PAL is an intramural, really, basically intertowns type thing. We have volunteers, there's supposed to be volunteer coaches, there's supposed to be volunteer for everything. What are they spending $240,000 on if it's volunteers, volunteer coaches? I mean, I get equipment and stuff like that, but you don't buy new equipment every single year. You don't buy new uniforms. When my kids played soccer, they got a t-shirt. And I still spent $25, $30. So my question is, and if the gentleman that answered the one earlier could actually tell us kind of an idea of what their budget is spent on, that would go a long way for helping us move this question. Thank you.
You have the floor.
Hello, Ryan again. Okay, expenses. So in our efforts to fundraise, it costs us money to fundraise. We have fundraiser expenses of $19,000, field improvements of $20,000, buildings and signage of $7,000, repairs and field maintenance, $30,000. The town does mow, they weed whack. We maintain the fields, we have to buy infield dirt, we have to treat the baseball fields. We're in charge of repairing the fences, dugouts, all the other buildings on our properties. Referees and umpires have to be paid. They are not volunteers. I think I have that in here too. Insurance is $12,000. We have to carry liability insurance as well as workman's comp insurance for the summer program counselors. Field trips for the summer program, $7,000. Background checks and CPR, $2,100. Games fees, dues, so is $7,000. So that money goes towards softball, is part of Central Maine Softball League. We have to pay them to be a part of that. As well as our travel basketball teams, we have to pay for those tournaments. They paid the $35 to be on the registration team.
About
Right.
softball, because I remember in softball in the summertime, each parent has to pay $20 to $35 each time they play.
That's an unrelated PAL program.
That's
That
part of
might
PAL.
be another travel
Softball.
program. I'm not familiar with that part of softball.
What about salaries, sir?
I'm getting there.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Game officials. This includes basketball, football, softball, all the sports, the officials and umpires, $17,500. Payroll, all. Summer program is $40,000. I believe it's $275 for 5 weeks.
All right, why don't you finish and then we'll have any further questions.
The sports directors is $20,000. Maintenance and equipment's $3,200. Payroll taxes, about $5,000. Miscellaneous supplies for baseballs, footballs, goals, nets, cones, all the gear on the fields is another $41,000.
If you're going to ask questions, you're going to have to go to the mic and make it formal, madam. All right? Anybody else? Yes, sir, you've got the mic.
Did I just hear that right? $41,000 for cones and stuff like that? Was that just last year?
Yes, it covers more than cones.
Well, that was one of the things.
That covers new goals, nets, footballs, baseballs, softballs, equipment, football equipment.
Are these things being replaced every year?
They're not getting completely replaced, but items that need to be replaced are.
Okay.
Football equipment has to be gone through every year. Things that are getting close to their 5-year date have to get tested. And if they don't pass testing, they need to get replaced.
Is the $41,000 that was spent last year consistent with the year before and the year before?
I've got the numbers right here. Yes.
That
Okay,
just seems like a lot of turnover
you're,
to me.
you're not in order at this point. Sir, in the back, would you want to speak? You don't? Okay, anybody else?
No, I'm not done.
Go ahead.
I forgot what I was going to say, but I mean,
You can have the mic in a minute, but this lady's first.
I just want to say one thing. This amount of money is almost nothing for all these kids. And I'll tell you what. I'd rather see these kids out in a pal field any day than in a drug rehab 10 years from now. And I think y'all would too.
All right. All right, go ahead.
Tammy Minier, 23 New Hall Street. I don't think that's the point. I think we should know where this money's going, and I think it's okay if we question it. I raised 3 kids in the PAL, went through PAL program. I volunteered. I paid for every kid to play, $30, $40. And I understand that it's an important program. I do. But he just said we're spending $41,000 every year to replace this equipment. That doesn't make sense to me. And I think it's okay to ask. It's our money.
Go ahead.
Caleb Bernarchi, 135 Back Road. I don't think you guys understand how much a new football helmet is. I think if anyone's got their phone out, you Google that right now. As somebody who has played in the PAL program previously with youth hockey, my son will never get a chance to play youth hockey again in Central Maine. And it's because of bickering and stuff like this that actually ended the entirety of youth hockey. Youth hockey is essentially on life support now in this state. And it's very sad to hear that we're arguing over $27,000 for our children, but we just gave the police $2 million of 47,000. I mean, honestly, it should be more. The equipment should be better up to date, less concussions for the children. I think that you guys ought to really look into how much a set of new equipment cost and then add that into your 40,000 consideration.
Would just
one second. Go ahead.
Just like
Like the mic
to
already.
wrap
Go ahead.
address the 41,000. We're only asking the town of Fairfield and residents for 27.5. The rest of that is coming, all the other bills we are paying is coming out of the PAL budget. That's coming out of fundraising, sponsorships, and registration fees,
All right.
not from the taxpayer.
It's been clarified. Any other questions or comments at this juncture? All right, if you're ready, all in favor of Article, wait,
I just have one last thing to add.
hang on a minute, all right? Hang on a minute. We have a motion on the floor to move the question. We have it seconded. Is that the pleasure of the, if you're in favor of moving the question, raise your hand. If you're opposed to moving the question, raise your hand. The question's on the floor. If you're in favor of the question of the article, raise your right hand, or a hand. If you're opposed to it, raise a hand. The article, as written, carries. We're down to 14. See if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $1,000 for Alphon Youth Center, recommended by both the council and the budget committee. Do I have a motion on 19? Moved, seconded, and seconded. Comments, concerns, or questions about 19? I see none. All in favor of 19, raise a hand. Those opposed to 19, raise a hand. 19 carries. We're down to 20 to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $3,000 for Fairfield Historical Societies recommended by the council in the budget. Motion, please. I have a motion and a second on this article. We have questions, concerns? Yes, sir. Well, you've moved, but it's moved and seconded. It's on the floor. Any comments or questions concerning this article, Article 20? Seeing none, if you're in favor of it, raise your hand. Those opposed, raise yours. The Historical Society Article 20 passes. We're down to 21.
No. They can keep up.
Oh, I can do slow. All right. We're 21. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $3,000 for KV cap transportation. This is recommended by the council and the budget committee. Do I have a motion on Article 21? I do. Seconded? It's seconded. Questions or concerns about Article 21? Seeing none, if you're in favor of Article 21, raise a hand, please. If you're opposed, raise a hand. 21 passes. We're down to 22 to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $10,000 for Fairfield Interfaith Food Pantry. The council budget committee recommended. Do I have a motion, please, on Article 22? I do. Seconded. It's seconded. Questions, concerns about 22, please. I see none. Raise your hands if you're in favor. If you're opposed, raise your hand. Article 22 passes. We're at 23 to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $3,000 for the Mid-Maine Homeless Shelter, which is recommended by the council and the budget committee. Do I have a motion, please, on Article 23? I moved it. Seconded. Okay. Questions or concerns about Article 23? Are you heading to the mic? Please, with my blessing, go ahead.
One of these days I'll learn to sit on the side closest to the mic. So on this particular one, I do have a question, and maybe the chief could answer it. Are we sending any people over to the homeless shelter? The Waterville Homeless Shelter, I got a tour of it a few months ago. And one of the questions that was raised is, it is an open shelter now. So they don't take families at all. And it doesn't matter if you have a criminal record or anything like that. You can still go into the homeless shelter in Waterville. And so my question, because they don't take families, they do a good work as far as helping families stay in their homes. But I would question whether or not we are actually sending people to the homeless shelter. If the chief knows that answer, usually they deal with that.
Mr.
Go ahead.
Moderator.
Go right ahead.
In the letter that they sent to us this year, in 2024, they served 20 people from Fairfield across all of their programs at a cost of over $50,000. They had asked us originally for $5,000, and the council and the budget committee preferred the $3,000.
Other questions?
I have received no complaints from the officers saying that they have not, or they are not having the ability to bring people in. So I couldn't answer the question.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah, I just think that whatever they're doing at the shelter it appears to be working. We had a serious homeless problem, a more serious homeless problem 2-3 years ago. I'm sure everybody noticed that in Waterville. Managing that population largely falls upon the Waterville services and their police and not ours. So if we just have to pay to continue for them to do that, and it doesn't cost us time with our own police force and whatnot, I'm completely in favor of it.
Other questions, concerns? Yes.
Hi, Tammy Minier from 23 New Hall. I can tell you my son works at the Waterville shelter, has for several years. It's a low barrier shelter, and there are no problems with anybody that's been brought there. They accept pretty much anyone. I know somebody the other day was brought there from Fairfield. And unfortunately, Waterville's pushing them out, and we do have a lot of homeless coming into Fairfield from Waterville right now. And I think we're just shipping them right back to the shelter. So they are accepting, and I think that's definitely a fair amount. I think it should be more, but I think it's a fair amount. Thank you, Tim.
Any other comments or questions? If you're in favor of this article, Article 23, please raise a hand. If you're opposed, raise a hand. It passes. We're down to 24. See if the town will raise and appropriate $500 for Hospice of Waterville. Town Council and Budget Committee recommend it. Do I have a motion? And a second. I have that. All right. Questions or concerns about Article 24 now? I see none. So if you're in favor of 24, please raise a hand. If you're opposed, raise a hand. 24 passes. Let's go to 25. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $1,000 for Spectrum Generations as recommended by Council and Budget Committee. May I have a motion? I do. And a second? Yes. Questions or comments concerning Article 25? Seeing none, if you're in favor, raise your hand. If you're opposed, raise. It passes. 26 now, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $10,000 for the Fairfield Victor Grange. It's recommended by the Council and Budget Committee that $10,000 from taxation. Motion, it's moved and seconded. All right, comments or questions concerning Article 26? I see none. If you're in favor, raise a hand. If you're opposed, raise your hand. 26 passes. 27, to see if the town will vote to appropriate the full balance of snowmobile registration fees reimbursed to the town of Fairfield by the state of Maine to the Fairfield Country Riders Snowmobile Club for the maintenance of the network of snowmobile trails within the town of Fairfield on condition that those trails are kept open to the public for outdoor winter recreation purposes at no charge. Do I have a motion on 27? I do, in a second. It's moved and seconded. Questions, comments on 27? All in favor of 27, raise a hand. Those opposed? Article 27 passes. We're at 28. See if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $226,730 for Delta ambulance services for the 2025 and 26 fiscal year. The town council recommends it, and so does the Budget Committee. May I have a motion on Article 28? I do. In a second, we do. Questions, comments, or concerns on 28? If you're in favor of 28, raise a hand. If you're opposed, raise a hand. It carries. We're down to 29 to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $458,900 for 3 additional full-time employment positions at the fire department. This is recommended to the town council and the budget committee. May I have a motion on Article 29? I do. In favor? Aye. In second? All right. Article 29 is in front of you. Questions, concerns, comments? I see none. So if you're in favor of Article 29, raise a hand. If you're opposed, raise your hand. 29 passes. 30, to see if the town will vote to accept and expend the sum of $2,032,511 from estimated revenues to reduce the amount to be raised by taxation. This is recommended by the council and the budget committee. I have a motion on 30. It's moved. Is it seconded? It is. Questions or concerns about Article 30? Not all in favor of 30, please raise the hand. Is anybody opposed? Raise a hand. It passes. We're down to 31. See if the town vote to accept and extend the categories of funds listed below as provided by the Maine State Legislature. Estimated revenues as follows: municipal revenue sharing in the amount written there, $1,150,000. Local road assistance program, $85,000. Homestead reimbursement, $500,000. Snowmobile registration refund, $2,000. General assistance reimbursement, $5,000. Veterans exemption reimbursement, $5,000. Tree growth reimbursement, $38,000. Solar reimbursement, $25,000. Other local, state, or federal funds or grants, unknown. Civil emergency funds, unknown. No. These are estimates, apparently. All right, so it's moved and seconded. Any other questions or concerns? If you're in favor of Article 31, raise your hand. If you're opposed to 31, raise your hand. Passes. We're down to 32. See if the town vote to authorize the town council to apply up to the sum of $1,450,000 from the undesignated fund balance to reduce the amount to be raised by taxation. I have a motion on that, please. And a second. Seconded. Questions and concerns about Article 32? All in favor of 32, raise a hand. Those opposed, raise. 32 passes. We had a member who wanted to make a motion in regard to Article 3. If you wish to do so, make so. Don't do it now.
Just got a question.
No.
Make a motion to make it $10,000 less than what was appropriated.
Can't do that yet.
We did that before.
Okay, I move that we reconsider Article 3. Having been on the prevailing side, I make that motion.
You're on the side that lost.
Yes, well, it was the prevailing side. Yes, we voted against it, so that was the side that won. So having been on that side, I am making the motion that we reconsider the article.
All right.
This actually gives you the opportunity to lower or raise the dollar amount. Lower the dollar amount, excuse me, you can't raise it.
Well, it's been moved and seconded to reconsider it. If you're in favor of reconsidering Article 3, raise a hand. If you're opposed to reconsidering Article 3, raise yours. All right, so the Article 3 is on the floor as having been reconsidered. What is the binding motion now?
Reconsider. Make a motion.
You have to have some sort of an affirmative motion to act on, and I'm not sure what the pleasure is of the body.
$1,145,230.
I'm sorry, that's an affirmative motion for a specific. What's your figure again?
$10,000 less than what was recommended.
$1,145,230, right? So you're making a motion to put before the body Article 3 with the amount of $1,145,230.
Yes.
That's second.
We can't hear who you're talking to. Was waiting for someone to be at the mic so we could hear what they were saying.
We can arrange that very well. You go ahead and if you have a question pending, go to the mic and ask it, please.
They have to make a motion.
If you have a question or a comment at this point, the motion in front of the body is the original article, but at $10,000 less. Is that the intention of the mover? I think it is.
10,000 less, is that your intention?
All right, and that's the intention of the second, obviously. All right, so we have it before you in that amount. Now, is there anything further to be said? Go ahead. Well, somebody take the mic.
So, so that's only decreasing it by $10,000. And I think what the biggest complaint that I was hearing was the 7% increase across the board, when most people, their raises, they're lucky if they're getting 2.5% per year. And I think that seems to be the issue. So I would actually vote that motion down again and move to reduce it by 2.5%. I know we have to get through this motion before we get to the next one. So you got to vote on this one. You vote for it, you're voting for it to just be reduced by 10,000. If you vote against it, then we can get another motion on the floor to go lower if you want to do that.
Any other comments, questions? Yes, sir.
I have a question. The undesignated fund, is that accrue interest annually? Is that earned interest? Is that in an interest-bearing account somewhere in the undesignated fund?
We're on Article 3.
Not even near the undesignated.
We're in Article 3,
Article 3? Yes, they are invested. Okay, am I germane to the topic right now? We've gone back.
I have a question around the 7%. Carrie Hackle, Military Ave. How is the 7% arrived at? Because that seems to be what the contention is. So I'm just curious how the 7% increase was determined.
Which was the original motion? Is that right, Mr. Moderator?
No, it seems like a lot of questions came up about the 7% salary increases, and that's included in Article 3. People seem to have contention around that. So I'm just wondering how that 7% increase was arrived at.
Mr. Moderator? Go ahead. So 7% was, for that specific article, was that department, which is our only non-union department, other than the library. So every other department that you voted on had much higher than 7%. Our department heads in all those departments also received 7%, which you already voted through as well. You have an article that went through, Article 28, that asked for a 40% increase from Delta. You had no problems with it. So I find it really unfair that you're picking on one department with our non-union employees receiving less raises than every other department you just voted for.
The highest paid person.
Thank you, Tim.
Wait a minute. All right, who's next? It's a mic.
Don't say it.
Do you have anyone else? Go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
Hi, my name's Casey Began, and I live on Western Avenue. And my concern is, one of the people included in that raise is the highest paid person that works for the town. Everyone knows she gets paid.
That is incorrect.
She's not included in that?
She's in that article, but to say that she's the highest paid person in the town is absolutely
In that office, she has.
incorrect.
Who's paid more than her in that office?
It's the highest paid employee.
Right.
We don't talk about individuals.
Microphone.
Any other questions?
About the wages, I think he was asking about who makes more than the town manager in that office. And you said that's not correct, she's the highest wage earner. And you can talk about her wages as far as public goes, because it is public.
You have questions?
Pardon me? I did ask the question, is she the highest paid in that office?
In that department, that was not what the statement was. The statement was she was the highest paid individual. She's not. We have people in other departments that make more.
He's asking about, is she the one in the department that paid the most?
In that particular department, yes.
Excuse me, but Mr. Moderator, right under, on page 67, order of prohibitions, the moderator will not entertain public comment about specific individuals. I find those comments out of line.
Any other comments or questions? All right. The motion that's pending is to adopt Article 3 with the amount, there was at one, it was the amount in the motion, it was the reduced by 10,000. And any other questions or concerns? If you're in favor of the article as it was moved and seconded, raise your hand, a hand. All right. If you're opposed to the article, raise your hand. It's very close.
Ms. Connor, if we have a count, please.
Sorry, what?
Standing count.
Well, let's bring out the two women that did such a fabulous job last time. All right, if you're in favor of the article, would you, who moved it, restate what you wanted to do? That you moved? I want to come from the person who moved it.
$1,145,230.
So it's $10,000 less than the amount that is in the written motion for article. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Just so that everybody understands. Okay, let's go ahead. If you're in favor of the article as it was moved, stand here. Let's do the right side first.
Those in favor?
Let's count.
10,000.
My husband works, you don't even know. He works for the railroad. He should get more. I saw the 10% raise.
Take your notes, ladies, and then we'll do the next round. You're in this. Wait a minute. If you're in this half and if you're opposed, please stand.
This half we're opposed.
Okay? Let's get that done first.
Son. All you do is just raise your hand. Raise your hand, son. She can't stand. So. You're trying to wave in front. I'm not standing.
Maybe your nose and we'll switch to the other side. Sit down.
I'm sorry.
Nose on the left. Look at your platform. You're in favor. Forward. Stand if you're for. The amount is $10,000 less than what the written motion says. And those, we have a count, those opposed, would you stand now?
Yeah, feels good. I want to. You know, we're all stretching our butt. I don't know that. I don't know.
See you now.
The top, figure it out. I know. Is it? It's a tie.
If there's a tie, the motion automatically fails.
It is in order for someone to move some action at this point.
I'm making a motion to reduce it to 1.127230. 1.127230. By approximately 28 to 30,000 reduction.
I'm sorry, could you, make sure we get
Yeah. $1,127,230 motion to reduce to that level.
you're making that as a motion. Is that
Yeah.
seconded?
Yes.
It is seconded. All right. Question, has everybody heard it?
Yep.
That's the TV. $1,020,000 to $127,230.
We'll go with that too.
Say again.
1.127230, $1,127,230. That's about.
Doing that again.
Yep.
Okay. Any questions or concerns about this number or the motion that's in front of you? And there is a second on it. Yes.
I have a question. Is this thing so low that we can't operate anymore? I mean, 300 and that. Thank you.
Hang on a second.
Yeah, thank you for that.
This keeps getting lower and lower and lower. It keeps getting lower. I mean, if we're getting low. What happens? I mean, we don't pass this, we can't operate on these ludicrously low numbers. What are we gonna do? I mean, I for one don't wanna vote for this number, and then what happens? We have lower and lower. I mean, how low can we go? I wanna ask somebody there, what do we do?
First of all, Article 3, the administration includes everybody in the town office, not just the town manager.
Yeah, I know.
And if we don't have the money, you can't register your cars, you can't get your fishing license. That's excuse me, I'm answering her question to the best of my ability. So, I don't think that that's, responsible for us to do. I'm looking at the insurance. We can't do anything about the insurance. And I'm looking at general assistance. Again, with that is, we use the 10,000, and I think the last report, I read in the town report, we used, I think it was, what was it, 16,000 or something like that. Legal services, that's for our lawyers. And then it's salaries, wages. And in that, you're looking at the livelihood of, I think there's 8 employees now in the, I can't, let me think. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I think there's 8 employees, 9 employees. So when you go to cut, and I'm looking at the 28,000, and I'd like to know how this person came up with the 28,000, or is it a random number or a certain percentage?
I believe she was looking at 3%, which brought it down to the 28,000. However, I want to say, Councilor Thibodeau, you just gave an out-and-out false statement.
True.
Well, okay, so I'm sorry, but you out and out gave a false statement, saying the government is going to shut down, saying our town government, that people can't register their cars. That's an out and out false statement, okay? Because if you've got 8 people working in that town office, 8 people for a town of 6,000 people, guys, Okay, we have 8 people in the town office, and we can't even be open one night a week for those people that work? Counselor Thompson, you were chair for several years, and you did nothing to actually give us an opportunity to register our vehicles and things like that in the evening. I know it's been brought up several times. Now, however, for Counselor Thibodeau to sit there and tell us that they're gonna it would shut down the town government, that is an out-and-out fault.
With all
And I
due
think
respect,
that's right.
Representative Rudnicki.
I'm here as a town council member, I'm here as a town member, not a representative.
That's nice. I was trying to be respectful. She said it in a way to try to help you. She didn't make a commitment. She misspoke. She wasn't trying to, no, she is. If you've known Stephanie Thibodeau for so long, she has worked hard for this town. She misspoke one word. She is not trying to threaten you, scare you, anything else.
My question is, if we don't have people that have money coming in, they'll have to go someplace else. And then we don't have people to provide the service. Let me finish my thought, please. So I don't mean that we're going to shut down, but who's going to provide the service that we need if we can't provide the salaries we need?
You also look at the numbers of people who used to work in the town office compared to people who work there now. We've actually cut the numbers significantly.
I have the microphone right here. I know I can go in front of it. If we have like, if people don't want to give intelligent people raises and they don't want to give people raises commensurate with the other people who work in the town, who they just easily voted raises for, which I do not understand, but how deep do you go before you're just holding on the edge and then our good people want to go somewhere else? Because why would you want to stay here when there's other opportunities in other places? And then everybody's complaining, oh, this town is a cesspool. Well, gee, if you want to keep it a cesspool, this is the way to do it. Just cut it down to nothing. I don't understand how low you can go. I'm very concerned that we're cutting out to where, when I go to register something, there was going to be, I mean, what do we cut out of this? How far can this go? You want to cut everybody's raise? What's the low number here? And I am totally against cutting out everybody's raise. These are educated, hardworking people, and they deserve a raise. Other people get them too.
Not at 7%.
Mr. Moderator. I've been standing here patiently, waiting to talk. Okay, my name is Cindy Michaud, and I'm from 361 Center Road in Fairfield. I have a question. What is the average percentage that people are getting for raises about right now?
2.5, exactly. Especially with the government.
Anybody else?
No, I'm not finished. I would recommend a 3% raise and call it that.
I just have a very brief comment, just for the sake of the record notation and people's decorum. Whether or not I agree with Councilor Thibodeau on the article, nevertheless, the reason that she made a statement about you could shut the town office down is because she was answering the question, which was pointedly as to how far could this go? And the answer to that is it could go to 0, and that would shut the town office down. So it's not a pretty statement, but that is factually correct.
All right. Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, we all pulled in.
Hi, Caitlin, 135 background. I have a couple things. One, I'm just confused why, like, if the how Ron said at the beginning, the issue that people are having, I think, is the 7% raise, not everything else that's in it. So I don't know why a raise is really on the line of everybody in the town office quitting and then us not being able to get done what we need to get done. And also a 7% raise is a little crazy. I work down at the mill and 3% a year is, we're talking about 1 year here, 7%, so that's a pretty big raise. So I don't know why it's like on the line of us being able to register vehicles if you get this raise or not. It's kind of a little, what am I trying to say?
All right,
Like, harassment.
other questions, comments, go ahead.
Yep, Nancy Bean, 140 Back Road. I just have to say that I'm all for raises and good work done at the town office, but the seniors for Social Security get a 2.5% raise.
Yeah.
So they get that increase to help pay for a 7% increase? I just don't get it. These poor people that live in this town are taxed to death. I'm good for the 3%, I'm good for the 3%, but these people are hurting. And I think we really need to think about that part of that. There's a lot of elderly here that need help.
Other comments or questions?
So I'm here in Fairfield, and one of the reasons 28,000, which by the way, that's all it is, okay, it's not a make or break in my opinion, all for raises. And understand and recognize the hard work that our town does, all of our officers, departments and whatnot. I am one of those people that do not get raised at 7%. I am on a fixed income. I am raising 4 children. I have to rely on fuel assistance every heating season in order to make or break, just to feed my family, okay, because of my income. I don't have the luxury of working extra because of my spine. It is what it is. I make do with what I got. I cannot afford continuous years of this huge increase in my tax bill come spring, that I have to rely on my tax return, that 90% has to go to the town. And I can't fix my house. I can't fix the plumbing. I can't pay for clothing for my children come fall. I can't, medication, not everything is free over the counter, okay? Not everything on copays is free. Just because you're disabled does not mean that you get free everything, okay? People need to understand not just that, but our town also, I watched a week and a half ago, we had 2 buses coming back from a game up in Palmyra. If you have a scanner, you heard it, all right? We had a leak on one of the buses that was antifreeze. We needed 13 buses, i.e. ambulances, to come to the rescue. We had Med 1, we have Rescue 3, we had Delta, okay? We had to outsource to Reddington, Winslow, Waterville, Oakland, Skowhegan, anybody and everybody that had an ambulance, because you can't double up on patients, okay? Guess who has to pay for that? We do. We have to pay those towns because we are using their services. Yes, we do. Where's the money go? How do we pay for that? So if that, please correct me if I'm wrong, because in my, from what I've seen, when you outsource, you owe them because we have to contribute, no different than our school budget without getting.
There's a motion pending regarding what.
Yes, so my motion is basically. Yeah, so in regards to that, yeah, excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm new here, learning, my bad. So in regards to this budget cut on raises, it really comes down to prioritizing when we have so many other priorities on the board right now, and we're still dealing with this economic crisis in our nation, and weighing, you know, who's gonna get paid? Your electric bill, your heating bill, your food bill, clothing bill, whatnot,
All right.
Does that make sense? Thank you, sorry.
Any other questions or comments? Yes, sir?
So, I'm Al Dyer, I live on West Street. If anybody wants to look on page 46 of the book, they have a general fund expenditures and actual budget summary. General government, last year we had $129,906 that they did not spend. The budget was 1.034 million, they spent 900,000. So this $25,000 to $30,000, peanuts, that should be easily absorbed.
That's right.
Good. You want to speak, madam?
Yes, I just want to clarify what the other constituent was saying about the busing thing. Those were not MSAD 49 buses that had that issue that she was talking about. So I just wanted to clarify that for the public.
All right.
Safety concerns, thank you.
All right, Lieutenant. Mr. Moderator, one more comment, please.
Again, I want to reiterate, you're going on $28,000. You're after Article 3 administration. You just voted in 30-something articles. You ignored all the raises from every other department. You voted a 40% increase, 40%, not 7, 40% increase in Delta, and you just approved 3 new firemen for $458,000. And you're arguing about $28,000 for a town office workers that are already there.
We are. None of these are going to save your life. They save your life. The raise. Hello.
So to answer you, Tim, the thing that people are looking at are safety, not where can I go this weekend or this week, or where am I going to the Bahamas or whatever. People are looking at safety. When you need an ambulance, you need an ambulance. When you need a firefighter, you need one. And all the towns come together when we have a crisis, and we go to them as well. So that part is okay. But to question people for approving Delta and to approve having firefighters, I hope you never have an emergency, Tim. Honest to God, my dog died because of that.
The question was about raising your taxes, and that's what everybody's fighting over. I got a 2.5% COLA, and I can't afford this, and I can't afford that. But you just approved over $500,000 in extra funding, and we're sitting here arguing about $28,000. I'm sorry, I have a problem with that.
And we have a problem with it as well. We look at safety, like previous person said. There's a lot of people in here that are elderly, and they're gonna need an ambulance, and they're gonna need help. And if it was your mother, you know, your mother's passed, and I'm sorry for your loss, but if it's somebody's parent, or somebody's child, or somebody that you want an ambulance for, I can guarantee you want that ambulance, and you want it now. And if you don't get it by approving these things, which we already have approved, thank God those were passed, because that is key to have safety for the people. Having a raise is that much is ridiculous. Nobody, even the state doesn't.
We're drifting off the topic here, all right?
No, we're not. No,
Just to make two brief comments, and I think people will appreciate them. First thing is that I admire that people have a resolution here, and there's something that they want to get done. And I think what's caused that is that taxes went up significantly, and they went up significantly everywhere. But those tax increases, if anyone went to the last council meeting where I spoke up, those taxes came from without, whether they came from the state level, the federal level, they did not come from the town level. Having said that, what Mr. Martin said actually doesn't even fully address it. Because I sat in the back and I watched majority of us vote for Delta to be paid, and then turn around and vote for our own buildup of our own ambulance type services. Now, go ahead, whoever wants to correct me there, no, please do, no, go ahead. So this is one of those things that, it's great that you're passionate, but you can't be passionate about $600,000 to $700,000 I agree with either one of those. I agree with supporting Delta and keeping those services, or I also agree with having the town of Fairfield have a more robust emergency treatment plan and that serves Fairfield Center. But to agree with both of those things, when we're all here for high taxes that we're fighting against, really is genuinely something people need to look inwards on. Now, having said all of that, I have always gotten good service at the town office, especially the counter people. I think that one thing you should think about is what happens if you start hiring people that are really, if you break the chain of senior people teaching others how to do that job. There's a lot of technicalities when it comes to vehicle registration, licensing, permits and whatnot. I don't think anyone's been affected by someone who just didn't know how to serve them or gave them the wrong answers. If that happened with your fire or your police, you probably wouldn't put up with it for too long. So I think we're lucky to continue to be just barely getting adequate services, and this is not the place to while I respect entirely your desire to deal with this fiscal issue, I don't think this is the way to completely pull it out. Thank you so much.
The motion on the floor, listen to me, the people that made the motion. It says that the budget, this is not an increase or decrease issue, it is, the budget will be $1,127,230. To replace the motion, or amount that was in the written motion with that lower figure. Is that what that is what you intended to do?
Yes.
This before you right now. I think you've debated it to death. If you're in favor of this, raise your hand.
Stand up. In favor. Stand up.
All right, stand up if you can.
Stand up. Favor of it? If you're in favor of the reduction.
So this is.
This is the dollar amount that we want. Yeah.
If you're opposed, all of you sit down. If you're opposed, stand up. This is not.
Well,
Motion carries.
I would call it this passed.
Passed.
And we are, that was the last one. The motion to adjourn. All in favor of adjournment?
yeah.